Welcome back, everyone. Following the news of Christian Wood opting into his contract, the Lakers center depth got one more body, though they could definitely use a bit more. And well, they might not have to look very far. If you're not aware, both Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes have a player option on their contracts, meaning that both of them have the choice on whether or not they want to come back, which Christian Wood already made, likely due to there not being much of a market for him. And if Jackson Hayes would do the same thing, then the Lakers would literally have the same front court compared to last season, which may or may not be something they want to have. And if they do not, then they could instead look to trade or even waive one of them, and then go out and find a different backup big. I know how much Laker fans love their centers, so we're going to talk about the best options for them to go after. Though we do have to keep in mind their limited spending power, with the biggest contract they have to offer only being around $5 million, which really limits the guys they can go after. But keeping that in mind here, we'll talk about both the best, along with my favorite options for them to target at center. But before we get too far into it, don't forget to check out PrizePicks to put your NBA or even WNBA knowledge to the test. And if you have been waiting for a good time to get started, then now would have to be the perfect time. They're giving out a no-brainer pick for the WNBA season opener, with Caitlin Clark having more or less than 0.5 points. And no, I'm not joking about that either. If you want to follow along with me, I'm combining that pick with a couple of other NBA picks later tonight. I of course am taking the more on that Caitlin Clark pick, and then I got Evan Mobley having more than 11.5 points, although Aaron Wiggins having more than 2.5 rebounds. Now do keep in mind that I am not giving financial advice here, but if you do want to try it out and make your own picks, then be sure to check out PrizePicks, and don't forget to use code JSM to get a bonus in your first deposit. But without further ado, let's dive right into it. And for option number 1, we'll take a look at Luke Kornet, current center for the Celtics. And while he might not be widely known, he actually put up a really good year, in fact, the best one of his entire career. Again, he has really flown under the radar. I mean, I guarantee that you did not know that he's been in the league for 7 years now, being a backup for a majority of it, though he has really begun to find his footing in the NBA, and especially in that role. Many people are critical of the Celtics center depth entering this season. They made a trade for the often hurt Porzingis, and then had a combination of a 37-year-old Al Horford, along with Luke Kornet behind him. And well, they did perfectly fine, with Luke Kornet being the one to fill in for both of them at times. And while a lot of big men in today's NBA tend to become unplayable during the postseason, Luke Kornet is coming off back-to-back productive games, totaling 17 rebounds in only 39 minutes. At one time he was viewed as more of a stretch big, with him knocking down 98 3-point shots during his first 2 years in the NBA, but now he's become more of a traditional big, averaging about 10 rebounds and over 2 blocked shots per 36 minutes. Not only that though, but he's become incredibly efficient around the rim, with him reaching a new career high of 70% from the field this season. Now I kind of wish he was still confident shooting from 3, but then again he would definitely be out of their price range if he was still doing that. I think that he will unfortunately be back with Boston, but I would certainly give him some thought if he does become available. He is only 28, has become a really good rim protector, and an all-around reliable backup big. But now moving on to option number 2, and here we have Drew Eubanks, another backup big that flew under the radar. Drew Eubanks had a really productive year with Phoenix, averaging about 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 blocked shot in only about 15 minutes of playing time. Now he might not look like it, but he is very athletic too, being a great vertical leaper, and that allows him to be a lob threat, along with an underrated shot blocker around the rim. I think he would be a more reliable version of what they wanted from Jackson Hayes. Unlike Hayes, he did not foul nearly as much, blocked more shots while doing it, and then was similarly effective around the rim. And if Hayes would eventually opt out of that contract, or if the Lakers simply did not want him to come back, then I think they can make a slight upgrade here with Eubanks, and very likely for a minimum contract. There might be a little more upside with Jackson Hayes, but you get a whole lot more reliability with Eubanks. And then with Christian Wood not being particularly reliable either, I think it might benefit them to find a more reliable backup center. But now moving on to option number 3, and here we have Goga Bitadze. And before you say who, I advise you to look back on what he did while the Magic were playing without Wendell Carter Jr. Because believe it or not, Goga Bitadze manned a top 3 defense throughout that time frame. Now he definitely did have plenty of help, but let's not overlook what he was able to do. Per 36-minute average, he blocked nearly 3 shots per game, along with grabbing about 11 rebounds per game. And if you plan to run a form of drop coverage on defense, which a majority of teams do nowadays, then Goga Bitadze would be the perfect backup big for your team. He is great at contesting shots around the rim, along with being able to move his feet quick enough to react to backdoor cutters. Again, I really like the upside of Jackson Hayes, but I would definitely take Bitadze over him in terms of reliability, with that being true of Christian Wood as well, and especially if we're talking about defense. I think you can make an argument for Batatse being the most underrated backup big in the league this season, and at the very least he would be top 3. Now, he might not be a 3-point shooting threat, but they already got that in Christian Wood, if they keep him anyways. And again, what they should be looking to do here is simply upgrade their reliability at backup center, which I think Batatse could do for them, and hopefully he'll be available for around a minimum level contract. But now moving on to option number 4, and here we have Xavier Tillman. I know some people still think that a player under 6'10" cannot be a real center, but I'm not really sure they know what they're talking about. I mean, if you're questioning his ability to play defense, the guy literally ranked as a top 15 defender in the entire league per defensive EPM. Tillman has a great combination of athletic ability, strength, and then a large wingspan to make up for any lack of height that you might be worried about. He can more than handle himself around the rim, but then can switch onto a ball handler along the perimeter, and that is something that every team should want in today's NBA. At the end of the day, if you have a center that can only defend a certain type of player down low, then they're really not that useful for the modern NBA. That is the definition of matchup dependent, and that type of player is the kind of defender that coaches love to attack on defense. The only problem with Tillman is that he did decline at finishing around the rim, shooting only 43% from the field this season, though I think that was the product of playing for a bad Memphis team for much of the year, because after he got traded to Boston, that immediately jumped back up to over 51%. And with all of that in mind here, I would be more than happy to see them pick up Tillman. And with both Tillman and Luke Kornet entering free agency, it's very likely that Boston will let one of them go, which a team like the Lakers could take advantage of, likely being able to get one of them for around a minimum level contract. But now finishing up with our 5th and final option, and here we have former Laker Andre Drummond. He would definitely be more of the traditional big route, being a bit limited in his all-around game. But then again, he is very good at the few things that he does provide, with the main one of course being rebounding. I'm not even sure how, but the guy grabbed 9 rebounds in only 17 minutes per game, or in other words, over 19 of them per 36 minutes, and that alone can make him valuable, even with him not being a great defender nor 3-point shooter. And with the Lakers having had reported interest in a reunion with him around the trade deadline, I would not be entirely shocked to see them go after him. He will likely be available for around a minimum level contract after all, and that would definitely be within their price range. Again, that probably would mean letting go of one of Christian Wood or Jackson Hayes, but I think it might be worth it to pick up Andre Drummond. They had rebounding issues for a large majority of last season, and well, I think that Andre Drummond would be able to help them with that. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? Of the 5 center options that we talked about, which of them would you like to see the Lakers go after? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.